eating right. I hate to see the night. I exist, but that don't classify as life. Always did right, but what went wrong?
Welcome to today's show. It's the truth, whether you... My live sideways on Facebook. Welcome, guys. It's Jazz Turner with It's the Truth, whether you like it or not.
Just mess that intro all the way up.
Mess the intro all the way up. That's how real it is. Founder of this show and co-host, Pastor Shanier Austin. How you doing today, Pastor?
I'm doing good. Running like crazy. I had a lot going on. Funeralized a childhood friend, so I had to deal with that. We're part of a funeral, so.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, unexpected, so shocking, but it's
oh wow.
That's how life is. So
How old was the person?
Probably around my age, around 45, 46.
Oh wow.
So beautiful spirit, young lady, had a very beautiful spirit.
Oh, it was a woman?
Yeah.
Ah man. Okay, sorry to hear that. Condolences to your friend's family.
Someone had a lot of perfume on this mic.
Me?
No, on this mic.
Oh, I was like, okay. What it smell like?
Perfume.
Okay, and also today we have Mr. Benny Holman, which is like the founder of Black Man Vent TV.
Yep.
Can I define Black Man Vent, or you want to tell them what Black Man Vent is?
Sure, you go ahead and then I'll just correct you.
Black Man Vent is a source for Black men who want to discuss all of their frustrations with Black women. It is the virtual version of the Mad Black Man.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like
It's
totally
the truth whether
not.
you like it or not, right?
Well, no, that's not the truth. The truth is Black Men Vent TV are the good guys who saw a problem in the Black community, which is the lack of family. And we decided to speak out about all the things that contribute to not having a family and the things that happen after that. Of course, the people who disagree with us have a different vision of us. But all in all, if you are, doing some of the behaviors we speak against, of course, you're going to be pretty upset. But
so
that's about it in a nutshell.
All right,
so quick question.
Okay.
So you said some of the people disagree. What are the majority of people who disagree with you?
Well,
Who are the majority of the people that disagree with you?
women. And
Okay.
then there are some guys who haven't been awoken yet.
It's always a complex word to put in there. Awaken or awoken.
Right. Yeah, I know everybody's saying stay woke now. I'm trying to say it so everybody recognize, but just a lot of people who aren't familiar with the family structure, and they are dedicated to the way they're doing their life right now. They don't want to be told to do anything different. It's a big energy to change what you're doing in order for the people that doesn't look directly beneficial to you, but for your culture and your people. So if somebody comes and tells you that the way you've been doing your life is wrong, of course you get mad at them and you want to keep your view of your life going and as right, because everybody wants to see themselves as a great person and they're doing everything the right way, right?
Okay.
Well, that is who Black Man Vent is.
All right.
A little bit more background about me and Benny. We're actually kind of like friends, right?
Yeah, kind of.
Actually, man, those are big, heavy words. You said actually,
we have
kinda.
like one of my best friends is also one of his best friends.
Right.
And so we are oftentimes in the same social environment.
Right.
So like technically there's love there, but at the same time, like we are on the complete opposite end of the spectrum when it comes down to relationship and some of the challenges in relationships in the Black community. So there's like a love-hate relationship.
Well, yeah, that's because I really, really admire what you're doing. That's why I come out and support you whenever I can.
I appreciate
Black
you for
folks do need some type of help getting together. All right. For now, the reasons why you and I, that's where we clash at. But that's why I come to all of your function. That's why I volunteer when you want to put me up there on the meat market. But
he does come out. He does support. That's for sure.
Yeah. So and that's that. But just the reason how we get to the same destination with bringing Black folks together is we just at odds with that.
Yeah.
I'm right and you wrong.
Yeah, but hey, if you guys want to hear like a bunch of frustration from black men about black women specifically, you'll even see me as a guest on the show, and you'll see the comments from me being a guest on the show. But
That's Black Men
check them
Vent
out,
TV.
Black Men Vent TV
On YouTube, just put in blackmenvent.com and it'll take you straight there.
It will take you there.
Black
All right.
Man Vent. Okay, I got to check that out. I
Okay.
gotta check that out.
So we're gonna talk a little bit about the relationships between the black man and black woman in the community. But our overall show today is about protection, not just protection for black men or black women, but just protection for the community overall. And so
Right.
our first question today really comes from two major things that happened recently in our community. Mostly because in a lot of cases, when we hear about the violence in the community, we kind of just we brush it off a little bit because we assume most of it is gang related, right?
Right.
But most recently in these last 2 weeks, we had two innocent victims that had absolutely nothing to do with what was going on, at least that's how it seems, who were murdered in the streets in our own communities by our own people. That first victim was I believe he was a 16 or 17-year-old who was on his way to work, murdered on 47th and Prairie,
Okay.
gunned down. His managers, the people that he worked for, said he was an absolutely amazing kid, and that was a potentially productive black man in our community that was taken from us for reasons out of his control.
Right.
The second person is Oceana Jones, and I'll give you the guy's name in a second. Oceana Jones, who was on 79th Street. She was with her boyfriend, supposedly a great student. She was 21 years old, great girl, never been in any trouble. Neither of them gang related. The story goes that they were pulled over, asked were they gang related or who they affiliated themselves with at the gas station, and they said no one. They took off running. She was murdered.
That's tragic.
So to take it even a step further, there was a march that happened. And there was a march that happened for Oceana Jones. Did y'all see that march?
I didn't see it.
Who was it organized by?
What's his name?
Father
Flagger. It was.
Is that the one where they went on the Dan Ryan?
No. Because this shooting was recent. This shooting was a few days ago.
The Father Flagger's march was, I think it was Monday. I think it was. There were quite a few people there at the march, and it broke out into a fight.
Yeah.
Wow. Who started fighting?
I don't know. Supposedly some people who got in a fight with like members of the family. So my first question of the day is, we like to march and protest and argue, and I think we should, about police brutality and those police officers who use their powers to torture our communities, I'd say. But who's protecting our communities from ourselves?
The police.
The police?
No, just joking.
No.
It's okay. Let me get serious. This is not a joking matter at all.
Okay. What do you think?
This situation is so deeply rooted, and 90% of what we do is pertaining to this right here. Who are the protectors of our children? Who are the protectors?
Not just the children, but the adults too.
Yeah, children eventually, if they do it right, they grow into adults.
Right.
Okay. First of all, who are these children committing these atrocious acts? Who are their parents? Okay.
Okay.
First, okay, let's go to that. Okay. And their parents, what is their parents' condition? And what attributed to the parents' condition? And why are they okay with their kids in the street behaving like this? I work for a community-based organization, community assistance programs, 117th in Halsted. So we are a couple blocks from where a lot of people get shot. Okay. A lot of people come into our offices looking for a way out of that. Okay. What I've found is that there is a pattern. Most of these children come from homes without a father. Most of these children, the young men, they don't know how to make it through life as a man. They don't have the instructions, so they get instructions from the media. They get instructions from the street or whatever is easier. There's been several.
Okay, let me pause you right there.
Mhm.
Okay, just to understand and clarify, and maybe we can talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
So when we say who's protecting the Black community from the predators, the Black predators on ourselves, you say, you find something in common with a lot of these kids that are out here doing these things. One being that they don't have fathers, which
Right.
we all know is oftentimes one of those issues, right?
Right.
And so you think the absence of the father in the home is the first step, and ultimately that it's not really more so of the protection, but more so of training the kids from the jump,
Yeah.
from childhood, to stop them from becoming that person versus
Exactly.
versus
Children are like
reacting later.
blank VHS tapes, if anybody's old enough to remember that. And they are filled up with their environment. Okay. You need something to fight that. You need both parents in the home, and you need them. You've seen Boys in the Hood and other, hood movies, how the father is really, really tough on. It has to be. When that's missing, ain't no telling how your children will end up. And what
So-
I've seen is that the level of evil that is going on with 10 to 13-year-old killers, because that's who's doing most of the killing out here. It ain't the OGs. They know better. They have no value for life at all. And they're so desperate that it's either, be the best gangbanger, drug dealer, or die. Dying is a way out of it, but you don't want to commit suicide, so just live on the edge.
What are they desperate for, though?
They're desperate to be somebody, anybody, somebody important. Do you remember back in the day when we would talk about somebody who had the same name as somebody else? You'd be like, Harold. Who you talking about? Flat Top Harold or Corduroy Harold? Yeah, Corduroy Harold that always be wearing the corduroys. Okay, he's known by his name is Corduroy Harold. They want to be known as a good guy. Well, not as a good guy, but just as the man. Every man has this in his life, okay? But some men have the instructions to get there. Some men don't. Some boys don't. And then they get it however they can. The young girls like the little thuggish. They see that on TV. Everybody's emulating the music and the thuggish, and that is the culture. I've seen 13-year-old kids try to kill people with a shotgun, and I'm like, what?
So do you feel that as a community we've become too comfortable, and y'all who are my Facebook friends already know I talk about this all the time. Do you think we've become too comfortable with kids no family, right? So children without the foundation that builds a healthy lifestyle for a child, which is a family, a mother, father in the household who are loving and in a healthy relationship with each other, and therefore can be the model for those kids.
Yeah, I just believe that family is a unit of community, and community is a unit of our culture. And if we can't get number one right, the rest is in the wind.
Well, I do agree. I think that one of my biggest arguments with addressing this violence or this issue that's with our children, with our youth in the streets, I think that we are trying to. It's good to march, and it's good to try to bring attention to it so that we can get the politicians to pass certain laws, gun laws and all that stuff. But my challenge with it is this: the issue isn't the guns. The issue is what's happening in the homes. And at the end of the day, if we don't develop programs to address the parenting issue, because it is an issue, because like I said, it should be a father in the home, but unfortunately 75% of African American homes in America are being ran by single women. Unfortunately, that's what's happening in our community. But that doesn't mean that we can't give direction to that we can't be part of it. We see the issue, but then bring some level of direction to that. And I think that we keep focusing on, well, it's the gun law. It's not the gun laws, because at the end of the day, they put prohibition. Just because you put a law about prohibition in place, that didn't stop people from getting liquor. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So at the end of the day, they're still going to get the guns. If you put strict gun laws on there, it's like this. They're going to say, okay, if you say you get caught with a pistol, you get 10 years. That's still not going to stop people from getting pistols.
No,
So at the end of the day, you have to address this issue that's in the home, because there has been a major shift in the paradigm of parenting. That what used to take place no longer takes place.
Right.
It no longer happens within our community. You can't, the discipline aspect of it, and then we see parents more interested in being a friend to their child instead of a parent to their child. And it's creating a lot of issue. I just had this conversation this morning with someone, and it was real. It was definitely it was real good what we were talking about. So
about being a friend to your child versus being a parent to your child.
Well, we were talking. What the conversation laid in what we were talking about. We were talking about we got into this whole thing where someone had made a comment against the young ladies who were involved with the R. Kelly scenario, and they called them out of their names. And I said they were 15-year-old girls.
Mm-hmm.
They're immature in their thing. I said, when you're 15, you fantasize. The fantasy of a 15, that's why the older you get, the less you fantasize. You know what I'm saying? Because you have more of a grasp on reality. So a 15-year-old person is always making immature decisions. And so you're responsible that much for, because they're in fantasy right now. I'm like when I was young, I swore I was going to marry Pam Grier. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man.
You know what I'm saying? I swore I was going to marry Pam Grier because that was my fantasy as a young boy. But the older I got, I say, it's not happening. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
that would have been nice though.
Yeah. Oh man, it would have been beautiful. It would have been a beautiful thing, man. So
she's a little bit older than you though.
But she still
You don't
got
care.
it.
I didn't care. Pam Grier was the bomb.
I would be honored if Pam Grier was my girl.
Really?
Straight up, Foxy Brown, man. Am I right about that, Earl?
Okay, so we know we got a family issue in our community, and we're too accepting of it. We already know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now that we're here, do Black men have a responsibility to do a better job of protecting our community from these predators? Because,
Absolutely.
like, let's be honest, we don't know specifically who they are. And Brian Mullins actually commented and said, we don't know who the shooters are. Like, perhaps we don't know them personally, but we see the people in the streets. We see them on our corners. We see, we can, like you said, you can tell. Yes or no?
Yeah, well, I see it a lot because it's my field of work.
Right.
But going back to the protectors, they have to be raised to be protectors.
So were Black men raised to be protectors?
I don't see that. I don't see today's generation taking care of us very well. I don't know. That might be a sneak diss, what they call it, but I don't see it. You know what I'm saying?
Are we just doomed?
I don't know. We'll have to see.
So you're saying Black men, we weren't raised to be protectors?
Right. See,
I agree with you on that.
My generation was raised to be protected. Where we come from, we were raised to protect.
What
would you define as your generation? What age range would you define as your generation?
I'll say 46 on back. I was raised
46.
to be protected. Yeah, I mean, even though I made some bad decisions, my pops, my people.
So here's an important part.
No, let me say this. My people taught me to protect your people. Like
Listen.
I'm overprotective of my family now. Over my family and my friends.
Can I add to that?
Can I add to that? Your phone, by the way, is stopped. Guys, please help us by sharing the show. I want to say this though, because what is protection? Right? Help me understand.
Protection.
What is protection of what is protection?
Protection is guidance. Protection is there's physical protection, and then there's supplying the wisdom that you need to survive in this world.
Protection is also emotional.
Yeah. Well, not a lot of guys are experts at emotions, but it sure is possible. But a lot of women I've found out is that they get protection and control mixed up. And but perhaps that's another show.
How so? How do women get protected?
We did a show. We went out in the street one night and asked Black women specifically some questions. Why are 70% of Black women single?
70% of black women are not single.
Okay, this was back in
It's
in
about to get hot in
2000.
here. It's about to get hot in here.
They love,
We can go back and forth
black
about
men,
that.
men
But
love,
we
they'll
but we
love to throw some numbers out there to
we
make black
just
women look bad.
I got stats to prove that. But we were asking that, and this one lady, I asked her, what's the difference? What do you call it if your man said, don't come to this club tonight? Don't go up there. And she said he will be controlling. But what we know and what we're logical thinkers, somebody got killed up there the week before. She didn't know. So she was like, he will be controlling me. That's protection. How can you protect someone who doesn't respect you or respect your position in the family? It's very, very hard. A lot of women today in these single parent households are shooting for independence, not codependence with a male and female, what we should be shooting for, but independence. They want to do it all by themselves. So
let's talk
if you
about
don't let a
this.
protector in, how can you blame men for not being protectors? And if you don't have a guy in the house to teach them how to be a protector, then where do you expect the protectors to come from?
Okay, so I can agree with you somewhat to a degree of a lot of sisters are not readily and openly available to just say, all right, come run the show. Partially because, no, mostly because there are not enough black men prepared to be the leaders that sisters desire them to be. Correct?
Where I got the instructions, and I've been prepared
You've been prepared.
from my dad. You know, when I grew up with my 2-parent household in the suburbs, Crete, Illinois, go Warriors. You know what I'm saying? He gave me the instructions by watching him. He gave me the instructions and everything to be this protector. I've seen him protect us. I've seen like one time a dog was biting my little brother and he came outside with a pistol in his pocket. You know, he snapped. He didn't even think about it. So he was kind of like, okay, when I grow up, I'm gonna have my wife like this, and I'm gonna be this type of man. Except I'm gonna do it better than my dad. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where protectors come. So if you look at the young boys that come out of these homes that don't never seen a man snap into action to protect them, to show them unrequited love or unconditional love, you know,
why aren't those men doing that?
What men?
The men who are not in the homes with their children.
Okay, the reason why, there's a bunch, and we're gonna start a fire right here, but I don't care, man.
Start the fire, man. Start the fire.
Well, women in the selection of
out.
men, they're not vetting these guys out here. Now in these days, back in the day, when women didn't have that much opportunity, they couldn't vote, they couldn't work, they were relegated to being at home barefoot in the kitchen pregnant. All right. Now, fast forward to today's, women have more jobs than the men and are more successful in some areas than men. So now they can afford to date any type of guy they want to. Back in the day, they couldn't date a thug or a loser or somebody that was prone to go to jail or get killed or something like that. They had to latch on to somebody who was going to make it, or they wasn't going to make it, period, point blank. Mm-hmm. So now that you don't have to vet the men or make sure that they are responsible, tenacious in their goal, are they loving, are they good men in general? You know, they don't do that. Is he cute? What is swag? Is he tall? What kind of money he making? Those are the qualifications that I see that a lot of women are going by. So, and then, you know, later on, we get to the point where they find out he's irresponsible, he's a liar, he's a cheater. I see it on my Facebook wall every day, you know, and it's like, yo, you know, you put this man in the king position, right? And the reason why he's not there is because he shouldn't have been there in the first place. Okay.
So let me ask you this. So what you're saying basically that the black woman the reason the black woman isn't protected is because it's the man's fault. I mean, it's her fault.
Yes. But it's always the black woman.
Well, it's on her selection. Women, this is how it works. Us guys, we chase women. We come up to women. Hey, how you doing? My name is Ben. Blah, blah, blah. I do this. And she say no. Next guy comes up. Hey, my name is James. You know, I'm a Pisces. Blah, blah, blah. She say no. Then the next dude comes. My name is School J. Blah, blah, blah. And I do this. I'm a hustler. This, and that. And she said, like you. Let's go.
Well, let me say, because I do a lot of relationship counseling and stuff. And I don't see that. What I mainly see I see a lot of women who are looking for protection, but because of the overwhelming amount of broken black men, it's hard to choose from. because some of them, and let me say, a black man doesn't come up and say, "Hey, I'm broken. Here are my cracks."
Mhm.
You know, so
Most of them are not even self-aware enough to like know that they're broken. They don't even know what brokenness.
So what we're
looks and
doing,
feels like.
real talk, what we're doing is that we are putting on the suit, the smile, and all this stuff, and we're presenting this front where women are falling in a starring role, but they're not. Then later on, they discover later on, they say, okay, I see behind the scenes there's some stuff that's messed up. My take on this is just my point of view. I think that we as a culture, as people, as men, we failed black women. We have tremendously failed because at the beginning of creation, we were called to be protectors. We were called to take responsibility of to make sure that she's protected. So when the snake come in, he can't get in.
Right.
But if you look at if you believe it, I don't know if you believe in it, but if you look at the creation story, it's the same thing Adam did is what we're doing today. Snakes wiggle in. And when the snake wiggled in, the man was silent while the woman had the conversation with the snake. Instead of the man standing up and saying, hey, man
wasn't there. From what I heard.
No, no, I'm not gonna go against you. No. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but no, the Bible clearly says
don't eat from that.
She said she took some, she took some and ate it and gave it to her husband.
Right. Yeah.
That's what it says. So he was standing right there when she was having this conversation. And so the problem is, was that the caller, Earl? Okay. So the problem is that, you know, we are not being taken our rightful place in the home. Because at the end of the day, when we do that, like even if you're not with your kid's mother, you know, which it happens, there still should be a level of presence that's there to say, hey, listen, you know what? My kids know better. Me and my kids' parents, mother separated. We're gone. But one thing I made sure is that my kids didn't sell drugs, which I did. They didn't go to jail, which I did. And they didn't gangbang, which I did. Because I made it my business to say, hey, listen, if you do any of those things by any means necessary, I'll be the worst gangbanger you ever have to fight against. Yeah. I'll kill you personally. And so that was my responsibility, even though there was a disconnect between the mother and I. You know, that was my responsibility to make sure that these kids don't follow the same path. Because I understood that by nature, a woman can't teach a boy to be a man. She cannot.
Right. Exactly.
She could teach him what type of woman he needs to choose. You know what I'm saying? And she could teach him some principles, tell him, hey, you know, respect and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, you know how it is, bro. We start smelling ourselves.
Right. Yeah.
We get up to a point where we start saying, hey, man, you know, mama can't tell I'm a man, you know? So this is my, you know.
Well, I have to disagree with the black men failed the community simply because I know at Black Men Vent, which we founded in 2006, and we got the Facebook page up to like 30,000 before the haters got it shut down. But I know of, out of those 30,000, I know of thousands of black men who wanted to be great husbands and great fathers, but they weren't chosen by women. And that's why including myself.
Help me understand that. They weren't chosen by women. What you mean?
They went out and said, hey, can I date you? And the women said, no, I want this guy over here. That's why I can't say that we failed them, because they chose this guy instead of this guy. These guys have to go on and find somebody else, whoever, like, and I'll use myself as an example. When you grow up, you do what you're told, you go to school, you get your career going, and you're ready for your wife. And all of them saying, nah, you lame. You too nice. You're not tall enough. You're not thug enough. You this and that. We want this guy over here. And when this guy dogs you out and leaves you with that child, is it my fault? It's not my fault. The thing to do, I can't control this guy. Okay. As soon as this guy doesn't want to change, because if he changes and turns into me, you're not going to like him no more.
Benny.
So what is your description of yourself? What do you, I'm sorry, what do you consider yourself? Professional?
Yeah.
Professional, educated, all that stuff. Right?
Yes. And I'm in a lot of schools, in the nonprofit circles in Chicago.
Okay. Let me share something with you. A lot of the women that I counsel today that's been broken, been broken by a lot of professionals,
man.
educated men, business oriented guys, entrepreneurs. They've been broken. Listen, they've been broken more by the professional man than they have the street dude. That's a fact.
I don't know. I don't know if the street dude can protect them like
no. What I'm
anyway.
Let me say this as a woman who has been hurt before, right? And a matchmaker who works with women all the time. And I'll let y'all do y'all man thing in a second. But let me just say this, right? I mean, because I'll let y'all have y'all convo, right? No, I mean, perhaps a little bit. But I think there is this false belief that somehow we go out and pick the most like the bottom of the barrel men, and those are the ones that we have negative experiences with, when in reality I can use a friend as an example. There is one particular guy in the city of Chicago. He just started going to therapy because I sat down and had a real serious conversation with him. This is a man who is speaking at every major event, getting all of the accolades. And he comes across as this person that's also about the community, destroying Black women all over Chicago. Me and my friend literally had to sit down and have a conversation with him and say, like, dude, if you care about the Black community like you say you do, you can't use your pain, whatever he's dealing with, to go around and put your pain on Black women. And he was so bad at it that he went around bragging to people about it. And this is like a top tier man. When we talk about accomplishments, how people view him as a leader and all of these things, he was purposely going around and destroying the circle of professional Black women. We can't automatically assume that.
Yeah. I know some hood dudes that are more bigger family men. I know some professional dudes who live like Bruce Wayne, you know.
Right.
But you know, that's neither here or there. My biggest advice for women is, number one, actions speak louder than words.
What does that mean?
But you know what? It has to be there, because I'm gonna tell you why it has to be there, because your argument is that a lot of the women who have been left unprotected have been left unprotected by basically street guys.
Street dudes.
And the reality is that a lot of broken women, I've yet to talk to a woman, counsel a divorcee, counsel someone who's going through, that came in my office and said, my man out here selling drugs.
No,
or my man out here cheating on me, or my man left me and my household is empty, or he, he's a poor
didn't work out.
No, he's a poor father. And so when I do the examination, what type of guy would he do for a living? These are professional men.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not
there are bad guys in every culture. Okay. Your body is your temple. Okay. You control who goes in and out of there. Okay. Is it that Black men are just generally just bad guys, or are you making bad decisions? Those are the things that we have to own up to. My advice to women is, actions speak louder than words. If you catch them lying, if you catch them doing something bogus, that's who he is. People show you who they are. That's who he is. All right. Some of us, I do it too. You meet somebody new and your imagination runs wild. You fill in all of the blanks that you don't know with happy things. Okay. And then sooner or later, you find out that these blanks that you filled out aren't happy things. All right. My second one is, if you're a good woman, you need to make sure that you make that known. You need to grab dudes and say, hey, look, I'm serious. I'm about this, and that. But then what I found is that a lot of women wouldn't approach a dude in the first place, you know.
Why is that a problem?
Why is
that women don't approach men?
Listen, we shooting out in the dark here. Okay.
Are we?
No, I'm talking about guys.
Okay.
Like, if I see an attractive woman, looks attractive, I hope she's a good girl. And then sooner or later I'll find it. It doesn't make sense for the good girl to be over there and see a good guy, but she's not gonna say nothing. Obviously, you're not really real about it. You just like the dude on the couch smoking weed, talking about he about to go to college again. Because if you really, really want to be married or start a family and all of that, you'll be doing everything in your power to make that happen. And if you got too much pride to initiate contact with the man, you're not serious about it. I can't take you serious about it.
There are some men that don't even want to be. I know good guys that prefer to.
Everybody, and let me say this: everybody gets this. Everybody that's Black that gets this messed up. They think that a female is supposed to approach a man and emasculate him, like Hey, what's up, player? How that jump shot doing? You looking good in them shorts or whatever. No, absolutely not. If you look at everybody, including older black women, they initiate contact with me. I don't even know I'm being hollered at. I'm talking to, yeah, young man, we had a bet going on. Yeah, what's this? No, you got to meet my niece. Whoa, you fix computers? You need to come up. Whoa. But, you know, and other cultures, they know how to seduce a man, let them know that, hey, I'm interested in you. Hey, this, and that. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to
So
our own
other
women,
cultures know how to seduce men.
they don't
Black
do it.
women
They're not
don't.
gonna do it. I don't see it done unless the dude is like highly attractive or highly rich or something. They don't do it.
So is it more so that if
We can do a poll right now. How many of you have approached a man?
I think
How many women have approached a man? They
Well,
never not me.
Well, let me ask you this: do you think a woman should approach a man?
I think if you see some opportunity, if you talking about family, if you talking about prosperity, if you talking about raising children to be better in this society, I think that you should really take the importance of having a man in your life. We see what's happening when a man is not in your life. Now you see what happens. Look at other people who are married and
What's happening because a man is not in their lives?
well, we're the protectors. Here we're back at the beginning. We're the protectors. We have none because there's no man in the life. So you see it's full circle here.
The woman is not given the responsibility on choosing. The man is given the responsibility on choosing.
No,
And because the man is given the responsibility on choosing, it is his responsibility to make sure that before he makes the choice, that he's the right choice.
Here's the thing. Wrong.
Amen,
wrong.
Where do you?
I'm going to explain it. I'm going to explain it. Okay. Here's the thing.
Because men are natural hunters.
Look in your back in the day, in the caveman day. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Look right now, who's ever on Tinder or Bumble or whatever dating app. How many matches do you have in your inbox? I have one right now. I talk to my other guy friends.
Tinder?
Yeah. Why not? I'm trying. I'm exhausting all types of facets.
All right,
I sing jazz on there too. Don't give me wrong. I swipe right on you.
Wait. Tinder. Wait. Help me out. I don't know. Isn't Tinder more
a hookup app? No, it started off as a hookup app, but
now it's more sexual, right?
No.
You don't have to take it there. Some people take it there. Some people don't. But anyway,
I have a Tinder
let me get to my point.
For professional and personal reasons.
Sure. Me too. Okay. Here's my point. They have hundreds. Like I didn't even know. Like I saw the page button at the bottom to go to the second page of your matches. Guys don't have second pages of matches. You have 85 people, 85 matches, and I have one. It's your choice of these guys. We all chose you. But nothing is going to happen until you choose one of us.
So is it possible that perhaps
I can choose whoever I want?
Is it possible that perhaps the women that you're interested in may not be interested in you, and there are 85 women that are interested in you that you swiped left on?
It's wholly possible.
Okay.
But nobody's going inside your body until you say yes, until you choose them.
I need to say this.
I can holler at anybody. If I was a chooser, me and Halle Berry would be on our 15th child right now.
Okay, let me say.
I'd have been like, Halle, come on.
Let me say this. I want to say this because this is the worst thing a woman can do to a man is try to emasculate him. Mm-hmm. But the worst thing a man can do to himself is emasculate himself.
I agree.
And the emasculation of a man, when a man emasculates himself, what he does is that one, he forgets his roles and responsibility as a man.
True, I agree.
And that he takes away from the power, the God-given power that he has. He takes that power and he makes it useless in his life. And the God-given power to every man that has been given to us, is that we have the power to choose. Adam was the one who gave everything names. Mm-hmm. He gave all the animals names. He was the one in whom Eve didn't choose Adam. Eve wasn't created first. And so the power of a man is that we have the power of choice. And once again, it goes back to this. Our responsibility, it is not the black woman's responsibility to go out and change the community. It's her responsibility to support the men who go out to change the community. Exactly. Now, that's a fact.
Exactly.
Because our history proves that, bro. Our history has been that it wasn't the women who were standing on the front line, but it was great men like Dr. King, Malcolm X, and a plethora. Now you had women who rose to the call, like women like
many of them.
Yeah, what's her name? My favorite lady today.
Rosa Parks.
Reclaiming Your Time. Jesus, Maxine Waters. You know what I'm saying? You know, women like her. But the reality is this: you begin to emasculate yourself when you say that it is the woman's responsibility to do the choosing of a man. It's not. It is the man's responsibility.
And it takes away
now, does a woman
all accountability?
Does a woman have a responsibility that when she is being chosen, she is the right choice? Yes. But the man has a responsibility that when he begins to hunt, he has already prepared himself that when whoever he's going after, he's going to make sure that he's the right person, because the power of the man that has been existed from ages. I mean, this is a structure that's been in place for ages, is that we are the power. We are the changers. We are the game changers, brother. We are the ones who go in and change the community, keep our sons out of prison, make sure that we protect our communities from terrorists, both foreign and domestic. We are the ones who do that. It's not the women who are called to sit up there with the rifles and guard the city, bro. It's the man.
I think that's tangent, and I'll just leave it at this. For example, Jasmine, will you date me?
No.
She had a choice. Ladies and gentlemen, guess what? Nothing's ever going to happen between Ben and... No, I don't... Please don't tell them why. Please don't tell them why.
No, here's why, though. It's not because...
Why is not the point. The point is you had a choice right there. You made it. I can't do nothing with you. And I made my man, I hit you with my spear, and you said, nah, get that spear out of here. I ain't going.
Well, let's take it back, though, because actually, when I first met you, I gave you my number. First time I met you, yes?
I don't even remember. Well, that was 1950.
I gave you my number. It was a long time ago, but you asked for my number. I gave you my number. So it wasn't a thing to where I saw you and I was like, oh, you're a good guy. I'm not going to date you. Now that I've gotten to know you and your views about women, specifically black women, that doesn't turn me on.
You have a choice.
Right. I do have a choice, but you also have a choice to pursue me or pursue.
My choice doesn't matter.
You do have a choice because you can pursue me.
5 girls. You got to holler at 10 girls at the club to get 2 real numbers.
Not if you know the 10 girls.
That doesn't sound like choice to me.
The guy like you.
That doesn't sound like choice to me.
Benny, here's the thing. The reason I wouldn't date you is because of your views toward black women. It has nothing to do with intelligent or a good guy or any of that stuff.
That's tangent. I know what your reasons are for your rejection. I don't have a choice. If I force myself upon you,
I'm not the only woman.
I go to jail.
No.
So let me ask you this: just because if a woman makes a choice, if you go walk up to a woman right now and say, "Hey, I want you," and she says no,
that's their problem.
That.
It's her fault.
It's her fault
that she's single because she didn't.
She has the right to choose anyone she wants. No. She has the right to choose anyone she wants, but you're responsible for your choices. Nobody's getting around.
Are you not responsible for?
I am responsible for my choices. Are you not responsible
for continually pursuing women that you're not compatible with?
I don't know if I'm compatible or not until we talk a little bit. But hey, ain't nothing gonna happen between me and Jazz because she made a choice. Boom. Listen,
let me say this. Let me tell you something. I met some amazing women in my lifetime. Some amazing women. Some amazing women who have rejected me. And I think I'm an amazing guy. But that doesn't mean their rejection of me
has nothing to do with
has nothing to do with me. Their rejection of me was that, listen, I wasn't for her. That's just the bottom line.
Yeah, can I ask you this?
Just because you can be the greatest guy in the world, the greatest woman in the world, that don't mean that y'all two greats need to come together.
Exactly.
It's just that y'all two greats on two different spectrums.
I understand. So if she goes ahead and says no to you, but goes ahead and dates somebody who is clearly just a scumbag, is that your fault?
Does that really happen a lot though?
No. But listen to this. If she does that, if she makes a choice to go date someone who at that particular time created but let me kill this myth right now. There's not one relationship that goes through changes. That doesn't go through change.
Right.
There's not one relationship. So regardless of who you choose, you're going to make a choice of somebody right now. And guess what? In her mind, she's not going to typically call you a scumbag, but she gonna say you did some things she don't like, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
Every married couple, I don't know one married couple who have not told me that they woke up in the morning and they said this: why did I marry her? That's just the process of life. And the reality is this: you can be the right person with the right person, but guess what? Some wrong stuff is going to happen. So if she made a choice to choose, I've come to understand something, and this is just me. I come to understand that we are developed in the crucible of difficulty. Like who we become is fostered out of what we go through. So the reality is that you can partner with somebody and that person may not be good for you, but guess what? It was good for you because it taught you something about yourself that you didn't know. Oh, yeah. A lot of bad relationships I got myself in taught me about me.
Oh, yeah.
While I was looking at them pointing finger, you did this, you did this. The reality is that relationship was for me. Mm-hmm. I needed to go through that. To grow and learn. Exactly. Yeah. I needed to go through that because guess what? Always remember this: a seed cannot grow unless it's in the dirt.
And I think also you have to ask yourself, Benny, you're 40, you said?
41.
41. So you've been dating 25 years.
Something like that, yeah.
All right. Have you ever dated women? Have you ever picked women that at first you thought they'd be amazing women and then later found out they weren't the right woman for you?
Definitely.
So when that happens to a black woman, why does it automatically mean she just goes around choosing scumbags?
Well, because we see the result of that.
Is that what you did?
What?
Did you go around choosing scumbag women versus the good women?
No, I didn't have a baby with the scumbag women either.
So the issue is the baby.
Okay, please hold this. Mm-hmm. Before I forget, and that's me with my faulty 41-year-old brain. But okay, if you cannot hold me accountable for failing the black woman, if you are choosing scumbag men, if you did not choose a good guy and you went and chose a bad guy to have a family with, and that bad guy abandons you, I don't have anything to do with that. I can't control that. All I can do is control me and maintain me and my goodness in this world. Until I holler at somebody and the thirst is mutual, nothing's going to happen.
But we've just established that we've all been in relationships with people that might not have been the best person to choose.
We're going back to the protectors. Where are the protectors? I'm explaining how a lot of men are missing from the home. Okay?
And whose fault is that?
It's okay. They're bad guys. All right, they're scumbag guys that don't deserve to be a father. Okay, that don't deserve the good woman that they get. But who you choose is a reflection on yourself. Okay, so
but a lot of these women that are single were not. They were not a matter of choice. They were chosen. Okay, and they just went along with the choice.
Okay. No. They when I went to go holler. Let's break it down. Let's break it down. If I go to holler at a woman, say, "Hey, how you doing? My name is Ben." I'm obviously choosing. Now you have the choice to say yes or no. Does my choice count or your choice? Their choice. Their choice, because both nothing's going to happen. But I'm not going to sit up here and argue ABC 1, 2, 3. But
did you not choose to pursue her?
Yes, but I didn't. It's not like my choice counts. I can't have a baby with you until you say yes. I want to have a baby with you. If you laying raw with a scumbag dude, guess what's going to happen? So then you can't come back to me and say, why didn't you protect us? This the guy you chose to protect you.
So let me ask you this. So you're saying, so I can have this correct.
And I have a question too.
So what you're saying is that a lot of women, the reason women are single and the home is dysfunctional is because of their fault? Are you saying that?
They are responsible to have a guy in there.
No. Are you saying it's their fault though?
Yeah.
Okay. What about the woman who chose? Do you not know that? Okay, let's deal with this statistical fact that let's deal with the whole infidelity act. That more men commit infidelity than women.
That's false.
That is a fact.
I got links to that.
Show
we both cheat.
Pull your link.
I don't have my link right now, but I'll post it on the show later.
Pull your link up on your phone.
Basically, it's about the same.
No, it's not. No, it's not. That's a fact. That is a fact that more men commit infidelity than women.
That is a fact.
That is a fact. I want to see you pull that link up. Give me that fact. I can give you some statistical facts that prove to you that more men commit infidelity than women.
I would say it's about the same. If it's a couple of points off, and then you got to give or take some points.
Brother, it's not even a couple points off. Real talk. Now, what we have
women are starting to cheat more.
Women are starting to cheat a lot more than they used to cheat because there's a shift in this.
I'm gonna post that link. That's my number one job today.
So a lot of women are now starting to cheat because of the shift, because of a paradigm that men have set. We've set this paradigm because if you look at the old school thing, the women stayed home while the men went out and watch this, fathered plenty of families, other families outside of that. Mm-hmm. And they still said, and we had a brother on the show, my good friend Michael, his grandmother would say, his grandmother, was that Michael said that his grandmother was like that? His grandfather started families outside of that and she stayed home and took it. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, to say that, statistically, from a statistical perspective, that's not lining up what you're saying, And
then Bennett, think about the black women that you do know, right? That you have decent relationships with, our mutual friend, as well as me. Guys that we've dated. Do we date bums?
Yeah, I seen you with a couple bums.
Oh,
remember that dude on the first panel that we did, the entrepreneur / hustler? That dude came lit up, smelling like weed and Henny. And I'm like, he's on this panel of black men. This dude, where did you get that dude from? The garbage?
On the panel?
Okay, and then the other dude. He
was supposed to bring a different aspect to the panel.
Yeah, he brought the worst of us that day. You know what I'm saying?
Some black men are like that.
But I don't see what we can learn from him other than I can't think of it right now.
You can learn something from
it. But I've seen you with a couple of dudes that I was just like, oh my God. Man.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Don't use me then. Use our mutual friend.
Look, I'm not saying that there are no good black women and all black women don't know.
What
I'm saying is far and few. If you look at our situation,
she did everything right.
We're talking about our mutual friend?
Yes.
Yeah, things go like
that. She
did
everything right. And what I'm trying to get you to understand is that there are a lot of women who go into relationships and marriages doing everything right. They put all themselves forward. They work hard and try to make it. She don't have any kids. And he took advantage of her vulnerability. And what I want you to understand is there are more examples like that than you think.
This happens across the board, but it happens is obviously happening to us the most, and it's obviously having like who I see arguments on Facebook, who gets the big piece of chicken. That's embarrassing, man.
But how are you gonna be a leader if you don't see yourself as a chooser? Like, how can you be the leader and you're not taking the first
I'm a leader regardless of whoever or whatever people think, because I lead in every facet of my life. I'm the leader. I make moves, I make things happen.
Let me drive
now. If you would like to come along with me in this life that I lead and let me lead you, then you gonna choose me when I holler at you.
He wants you, Jazz.
Period, point blank.
No, he don't want me. He's around me all the time. He's like talking trash.
Let me say this. I'm a driving your lane for
Benny,
a minute.
Do you want me?
Don't try to steal while we on camera.
Let me drive in your lane. I'm gonna drive in your lane. I'm gonna get in your car now. Okay, I'm in your car, Benny. So you say that women have the reason they're in the situation they're in, they made poor choices. So they're poor choosers. So because they always choose poor men. I get it. I'm in this car now. I'm driving in this car. So let's deal with when you get to solving a issue, solving a problem, you have to get to the root of the problem. Do you agree?
I agree. You have to
because you have to go. So okay, let's look at that woman. Why is she making poor choices? So now you have to go back and get deep into her psyche and get deep into her life and figure out what is it, why you keep making these poor choices. Well, let me tell you what I've discovered in counseling and what I've discovered based on the research of plenty other counselors. There's an issue that we've coined called daddy issues. Mm-hmm. Daddy issues is when a young lady has not been fathered correctly. Because she has not been fathered correctly, she has a misguided lifestyle in which she ends up choosing the wrong men, engaging in certain acts with men that are ungodly. And her lifestyle is led the wrong way because watch this, going back to the problem, going back to the issue that behind her issues is a man who didn't father her.
It's a cycle.
So watch this. So now it goes right back to this. If I use your theory, I have to go right back to the issue of this woman making poor choices comes from a man.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I have to go back to.
Well, here's the thing. It's not only that they're making poor choices. It's the fact that some of them are not up to par.
What I'm trying to
But we'll talk about that.
I'm trying to get you to understand.
It's a cycle. It's a cycle. Okay, if my mom, let's just say my grandmother, chose a scumbag dude. Okay, so the scumbag dude wasn't in my mother's life. Okay, my mother's gonna raise me the way my grandmother raised her. Okay, without a man in the home. We could do it. You've seen several generations in one house, or I've seen several generations in one house. The grandmother, the mother, and the daughters. Okay, all surviving with no man in sight except for the children of that. Okay, so if she chose a scumbag dude from back in 1942, it's going to trickle down all the way until today. And that's what's happening. That's why the protectors aren't there. Okay, these kids or these young dudes growing up right now are raised primarily by women. 80% of our children are coming from single parent homes. 80% of prisoners of all races come from single parent homes, broken homes. Single parent homes, children are like 10 times more likely to drop out of high school, get pregnant, develop mental issues, and also relationship issues. And these are like 3-4 generations.
Now you just made that quote, but the accurate quote to that is that young boys and young girls without a father in a home, especially young boys, are more likely to do that. Now that's the accurate statistical analysis of that.
When the father is not in the home, it's not the weekend fathers. Don't get me wrong. Everybody else is in their child life. You are doing a great thing. If you weren't there, it will be 10 times more horrible. What I'm saying is that day to day, there are things that your son, your daughter needs to see you doing. Brushing your teeth, tying your tie, mowing the lawn, fixing something. These are things that are not being shown on a day-to-day basis that contribute to a young man being a protector.
Okay, let me share this with you. Let me share this fact with you. This is a pure fact. I have a son that plays professional basketball right now. He has done well. Mm-hmm. I have a daughter who just graduated from Mizzou University on her way to medical school. Mm-hmm. I have an older son that just graduated from Indiana State University. I have a daughter, my middle daughter is in Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville University right now. No, let me finish. My children have achieved greatness by the grace of God. And guess what? I was not in the home 24/7. Mm-hmm. Me and their mother is not together. You want to know why? You can be in the home and not be in the home. They didn't see me brushing my teeth every day. Yeah. They didn't see me tying my shoe every day. They didn't see all this stuff. But what they did see is a father who was serious about parenting them. So I have to, it's not necessary. You don't have to be, the unfortunate part about all of this is that 75% of our homes are being ran by single women. But that doesn't give excuse to why there's brokenness. Is brokenness in our community because men are not stepping up and women are forced to do things that they just don't have the power to do. A woman cannot teach a boy how to be a man. Yeah. She doesn't have it in it. Listen, as much as I want to show, there's some women stuff about my daughter, young lady, it makes me cringe. When my daughter first came and said, "Hey, Daddy, I'm on my cycle," man, I start itching. I didn't know what to do. All I know, hey, I can go buy the stuff, tell me what to buy, but at the end of the day, that's her mother teaching. My mother has to teach her what to do, how to, cleanse herself and all that stuff. There are just certain things I do, but what I can teach my daughter what to do now is what type of man to choose. I can make her comes along and call her pretty, that she has to go in and fall into that she doesn't have to be, she has to sell herself or compromise her beliefs just so that she can feel loved by somebody, because she had a father that was very affectionate, that told her how beautiful all my daughters felt. I tell them how beautiful they are all the time. And I make them know that if anything ever happens to you, my life will be on the line for you.
Can you say that body is, I know you're very proud, and we're going to have to talk after the show. No, we can't. I'll just answer that for you. You grew up the way you grew up with your pops, and you were able to pass that down to your children.
No. Guess what? I got daddy issues.
Okay, you said something earlier in the show about learning something from your pop, but
No. I said no. I never told you about my father. Now, my father was not a good father to me. He was not. My father became one of my best, but my father didn't father me.
okay.
Because guess what? When I was selling drugs, my dad was there.
Mm.
So he was right there with me.
Mm.
So there's a lot of things that I did that my dad was there and he co-signed with me. A lot of my behaviors that I was taught, and I said this on the show before, a lot of things, issues I had with my abuse of women, not in the physical, like form abuse, but my emotional abuse, not, being faithful and all that, commitment issues stem from what I saw in my father. So I had daddy issues. I just made sure that my kids not gonna have daddy issues. Right. That's what I made sure.
Here's the thing, and sorry about that, but I want to know why it was okay to date someone who was okay with drug dealing and in that life. Why? And this goes back to, I think, like one of the last meet and greets that you had, the one at Bar Louie's. I don't know if that was the last one. That was the last one you invited me to.
Yeah, that was the last one.
But
you're always invited.
But here's the thing. What I saw there were a bunch of guys who weren't the swaggiest, the coolest, the toughest guys, and I saw a lot of women who weren't interested in them. And we cannot deny that today women really like edgy, very dominant alpha men. Okay. And it's just unfortunate that a lot of times with this psycho profile, they might be cheaters, and it's the only thing.
Do you think that only alpha men are the ones who act like that?
No, whatever I say, I'm speaking in general.
Right.
I'm not saying can't nobody make it out of a single parent home. But what you're saying is, like, because
he's an alpha man, then he is more likely to be a cheater.
No, I'm just saying more likely you see that. More likely.
My friend, go ahead. I'm not going to.
Yeah, we can't say my friend or my friend. It's not indicative of the entire culture. When you're speaking in generality, it's called anecdotal, I believe. When you have a one-off example of how it is possible, of course it is possible, but it's not the majority. When it's the majority, then we don't have a problem.
So what do you suggest? Women date beta males?
I'm not into that whole alpha beta thing.
You brought it up.
Yeah, but I just brought it up because everybody can relate to it in that manner.
So what? Okay, so
that's just me personal.
So
that's
Vinny,
just me personally.
As the founder of Black Men Vent and the voice for 30,000 black men who are frustrated with black women, what?
We cannot make a lot of these women. Their type is not a good guy. Let's just face it. Okay,
you
think they like in a man is not a good guy.
He genuinely believes that women like bad guys, and that is why.
And that's not the only thing. Some of these women are not settling, and they are raising kids by themselves, but they're in a perpetual single, forever being single mode because nobody ever lives up to their standard. There's a lot of things, but we're talking about the most prevalent things. All of the guys, I'm not gonna say every single one of the guys. I don't want to make that disclaimer every time I say that. But in Black Men Vent, I notice are career oriented. They're not that good socially.
They're socially awkward, and
yeah. Some of them, but you know what they really like. And I'm gonna tell you,
do you know what that makes me feel like as a woman when a socially awkward man is having a conversation with me? It makes me uncomfortable.
I know.
Absolutely, I don't necessarily.
Right, we can't do
that. Okay, so is it your responsibility to work on your your social skills, or is it my responsibility to be attracted to a man?
My advice to those
who's socially
awkward people is to get in where you fit in.
Work on your social skills.
It may not be black women. It may be white women. Maybe Asian.
It could be all of that. But listen, let me say this. Well, my clients, I have clients that come to me and they have they're socially awkward. Sometimes they have confidence issues. Sometimes they have trust issues. I don't tell them, go find somebody that's going to deal with your trust issues. No. Go find somebody that's going to deal with your confidence issues. I tell them, let's work on your trust issues. Let's work on your confidence issues so that you can attract a quality person. So if a man is socially awkward, which is probably 90% of the following of Black Men Vent, why would you not invest in building your social skills so that you can attract the type of woman that you want,
here's the thing.
or date a socially awkward woman?
Around the globe, except for our culture, a man is supposed to build his castle and follow it and chase his dreams. But in our culture, we're supposed to be chasing women. That is dead wrong. Okay.
Who said that?
the hunters. What do the hunters chase? They chase what they going after.
No,
That's
the
chasing.
hunters not only
That
chase.
doesn't mean he
They don't
doesn't
only chase. They
chase
don't. Hunters not only go after their mate, but
Go
they also
after
chase. They chase their
potato
dream.
their
potato.
dreams in
They chase.
general.
That's what a hunter is. A
Yeah.
hunter will go after the things
Well,
that
we're
will
talking
benefit his life.
in the sense
So
of women.
here we have
Hold on.
let me finish because I've let you say a lot. Here we have someone who's like, first, we want women to start pursuing guys. And I'm socially awkward. So when this confident woman that I really desire, because those are the women that we want, right? When this confident, attractive woman who has other options of men who are secure and confident, when you want that woman to then go pursue you and deal with your social awkwardness.
Okay, here's the thing. Here's what I'm talking about. And I started to make this point, but we got tangent. All right. He may be socially awkward, but his dream is to become a great father. His dream is to become the best husband in the world. His dream is to build a castle, take his family on vacation, do all of this stuff like that. Things that women want. Nobody is perfect. Okay. Being socially, what do you call it? Being cool or whatever, having swag and all that doesn't do anything for
having
anybody.
a conversation that doesn't make other people uncomfortable. Let's switch
But you
it up
have a
here.
choice between that, and then you have a choice between the guys who are social geniuses but don't really have nothing going for them.
Why can't
And
they
that's-
be
and that's-
both? Why can't they be both?
Well, we're talking about two different types of
why can't
people.
a woman want a guy that has both?
Because it's not logical.
Let me say this. I'll say this.
It's not.
I'll say this. I can march 20 women in here right now. Just pick them off the street. 20
They
women.
gonna lie.
And I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think out of the 20, I think probably about 98% of them will say they want a good guy.
Yeah,
And 90,
They're supposed to say that.
No, 100%. No, 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
And I give room for error. I always give room for error. You know what I'm saying? So I say 98%, 99%. The reality is that, man, women, from what I hear, they want good guys. Now, does a woman say, I want a businessman with a little bit of thug in them? And when they say the thug in them, let me help you understand what they say the thug in them. They want a guy that they can feel protected by.
Why you gotta be a thug?
No, understand what it's a metaphor, bro. It's
Yes.
a metaphor. They don't want a guy walking around here with a bandana on his head.
Shoulders,
He got a 40 in his bag.
A man
They
that's
just
going
want-
to
when they
protect
say
you
thug,
is a
that's-
man.
When they say thug, that's just metaphorical language to
He has his
symbolize
own issues
they
with
want him
insecurity.
tough.
His shoulders are
So
cropped
what do
in.
Asian people say? They want somebody with a little karate man. I know that's so
Absolutely.
racist.
But
I'm just trying to think of something.
no, Asian
Sorry, I
women are
apologize
attracted
for
to what their culture,
That's not me.
is masculine. They are attracted to the masculinity in their
But
culture.
they're not gonna say I want a guy with a little thug in him. A man to me is somebody who jumps up and protects his circle. That's not a thug. A thug is, you look it up in the dictionary, it says ruffian, so scumbag, somebody that you're not supposed to deal with.
That's what I'm saying. I understand what you're saying, but thug is a metaphor. It's a metaphor. Like if we
And maybe we need to get rid of that metaphor.
Okay, the metaphor. If someone says that, man, you got a little thug. I hear people say that now. They say, boy, you're a pastor, but you got that thug, and you got that little edge in you. Because I'm a strong man. I'm a man's man, and so I stand up for
the
what's
streets influence you a little bit, right?
I stand up for
in
what's
order
right.
to sell drugs, you got.
But when they say thug, I don't take it. I don't say, and I don't take it in a bad way to sit like. I'm walking around here, man, with a pistol in my pocket, some rocks in the nut in my hand, and I'm cussing and I'm talking, got bandanas on my head, I'm grabbing my crotch and all that. I don't take it. I know what they're saying. They're saying that, hey, listen, don't push him where he has to stand up for righteousness, because he will stand up and he will let that tough guy show that, man, you're not going to not a pushover. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so when a woman say I want to, she's being metaphor, but most women want, man, the dream of a woman is to have a great man. Mm-hmm. That's her dream.
That's subjective. And I know what a metaphor is. My thing about it is, why do we have this negative connotation as a quality to describe a man when nobody else does? But that's a whole nother show. Our adoption of this criminology way of life or whatever, that's another show. Okay. Why they said it to me? Because I ain't never been a pushover. Always been a leader. I don't know. I was thinking because I'm not out on the block. You know what I'm saying? And that person, but that's a one-off example. And I understand. In order to sell drugs, you got to have a little street in you to do that. And our women appreciate that. I don't have that.
I think you missed everything he said.
No, I understand
Benny,
exactly what he
the
said.
truth
Y'all don't
is,
understand
the
what I'm
reality
saying.
is, like, you don't want to hear anything other than it's all black women's fault. And
No,
until
I put blame where it's supposed to be. You know, if
but the sad
if
part
you-
is that you desire to be with a black woman so much. You cannot genuinely love a black woman when you feel this way about black women in general.
No, I put blame on anybody. If somebody in another culture displayed the other cultures, they understand it. Like when I tell them about black men vent, they like, what's the point? Well, you know, we want women to be submissive and family oriented. And they're like, what? So what's the point?
To the socially awkward guy who can't even speak.
But he is cultivated. He's the key to family.
Submit to him?
He is the key to family. Look, every woman that I talk to is not perfect.
You
Look,
think I'm about to submit to
every woman that I talk to is not, since they're not gonna listen.
Over in the corner.
Every woman that I talk to is not perfect. Okay, some might have a good face, their body is jacked up. Some might have a good body, but their face is jacked up. Some of them might not have a good body and an okay face, but their personality is dope. Okay, there's gonna be something about everybody. Nobody's gonna be perfect.
Let me
You're trying to find somebody who is family oriented and has swag. That's rare.
Okay, so I'm going to introduce you to a woman you're not attracted to, who's family oriented and shares your values, and you're going to go?
Let me ask you this, Benny.
We'll see.
Okay, let me ask you this, Benny. What is your definition? What is the ideal wife for you? What is her role in a household?
This is a good question.
My wife, who I always envisioned, would be someone who is back to back fighting the world with me. I don't fight her. We fight all, and we go towards our goal. I've seen my parents do this, and I wanted to do that.
Does she have a voice?
Yeah, of course.
What does her voice sound like?
Her voice, she is the co-captain of the ship. Just like any other ship on it, I take her counsel and all of that into consideration, but it's going to be my decision.
So it's going to be your decision. Okay. So I see.
And she's going to stand behind it too.
So let me ask you this. So if she asked you, if she told you she saw she saw a hole in the street and said, Benny, don't go down there. And you said, oh, I'm going down there because I made the decision.
I'm a fool.
But you just said she don't have a voice. You said it's your decision.
She can say that.
Look, but it's your decision. What if she turns the car and say, no, you can't go that way? My
whole thing as a man is to protect my family and lead us into prosperity.
Well, answer that question.
Here's the thing.
What if she makes that turn?
If she does that, people argue all the time. It doesn't, I've seen my parents and my mother said something and our dad did it anyway. The world didn't blow up. He made a bad thing. And now when it comes to her counsel, he better listen a little bit harder.
Would your view of her would you see her as being non-submissive?
No.
But that contradicts what you just said.
No, submissive is she knows her role in the family.
No. You said at the end of the day, the decision is mine. So so anything that goes against your decision being yours, you will see as an offense to you. So what you just said, I said, if there's a hole in the street, she's driving, she see the hole, clearly see the hole, and it's going to literally fold your car in half and kill y'all. And you like, oh, I'm still going to go down the street. And she turns the car.
Never do that.
And she turns, no, for real. And she turns the car. Would you find her to be offensive because she turned the car?
No, if she saved us, I'll be like, oh my God, thank you.
But you didn't know she was going to save you because you said you were determined to go down the street.
We don't know anything. The best thing to do when you're a guy is to be the best man you can. You're not always going to make the right decisions. You're not always going to listen to good advice. We don't all listen to what our parents told us. So we're still doing stuff. Here's the thing. I hope that she chose me because I'm a good decision maker. I hope that she chose me because she's seen me be a leader in life. I hope that she chose me because she knows I'm smart. And this is what you're supposed to be choosing dudes that you date. Okay, you're not supposed to be choosing whether he's socially awkward. That doesn't matter about anything. Does he take care of his business? Yes, he does. I know one guy who's a devout BNV follower, socially awkward, all of that. He got him a wife, got him some kids. Educated, they are living the life. The only thing is that he just doesn't click in social situations.
that couldn't work for me. I'm just in too many social
then you got a choice. Either you're gonna stay by yourself and deal with these stupid swag dudes, or you're gonna get somebody with some real qualities that's gonna get you somewhere in life.
Or praise God, I meet guys who have both.
Yeah. hey, you're very lucky. That's like me meeting a rocket scientist with a big chest.
No, it's not. I think there are black men who are ambitious, who are
I'm
not
pretty sure there are
necessarily
some bad scientists out there that know how to twerk.
Shanair, did you have something else you want to say before we
Yeah,
shut it down?
Earl, before we shut it down, I want to say this. Give me just a few minutes. I want to say this.
Cut the music off, Earl.
No, don't cut it off yet. This is the truth, whether you like it or not. And I will say this, and I would challenge all black men.
Mm-hmm.
I challenge all men in general that to know your role and your responsibilities. Your role is to be the protector and provider for your family. That men, we set the course. We set the whole stage for what happens in both inside the home and outside the home.
Mm-hmm.
When we are fixed, we're able to find women that are fixed as well.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean that we won't have broken moments? You'll always have broken moments.
Right.
But because you two are fixed in your whole in certain areas, spiritually and emotionally, man, you'll find ways to repair any breaches that happen in the home. A lot of where we are, a lot of where our women are today, men, we have to take responsibility for that.
Exactly.
We have to own what we've done. We have not parented these daughters, and these daughters are out here running. That's why if you do statistically, from a statistical perspective, if you ask, you line a bunch of strippers up in here. Strippers are stripping. All the strippers, majority of strippers, 98% of them will tell you, my daddy was not there.
Oh, yeah.
They have daddy issues.
Yeah.
Or they had a father there that wasn't a father.
Mm-hmm.
And so the reality is this. We have a responsibility as men to stand up and provide something different, because at the end of the day, a woman is desirous of her husband. She's desirous of having a husband. She's desirous of having, and she deserves that. I think beautiful black women, white women, Asian, Hispanic, whatever woman you are, you deserve someone in your life that's great. But what men, we have to stop doing is, watch this, faking the funk. And we're good at that. We're good at saying, hey, listen, look at my career. Look at my education. Look at my affiliations and all this stuff. I've achieved some great things. We're high over here in these areas, but emotionally and spiritually, we are garbage. Just because you are a businessman, you've achieved a lot of greatness in life, doesn't mean that you are a great person to be in a relationship with.
Exactly.
Because the reality is this: more women are divorced. The reason a lot of women who have been cheated on by what on paper are good dudes. On paper are good dudes.
Right.
And so we have a responsibility. Jasmine, I'm done. Is there something you want to say?
I want Benny to tell a little bit where socially awkward men can find you, and women who love them can find you. Where can they find you?
Where you want to find family-oriented men and their opinion on relationships and current events, you can come to blackmenvent.com. Okay. And
thanks, Benny, for
expecting guys who are not stepping up already to step up is a lost cause.
Thanks, Benny, for
people at blackmenvent.com are ready to step up, but you don't like them because they're socially awkward
or unattractive or
unattractive. I've seen women date unattractive dope
a gazillion other reasons why you might not be attracted to someone. But guys, thanks for tuning in. I hope we gave you what we believe to be the truth, whether you like it or not. You can find me and a free video on 5 ways to attract Mr. Right, a socially confident guy at 5 steps to MrRight.com. I think that's it. Y'all have a good day.
The taste of pain, I can't get a grip because it always rains. It's driving me insane because all I know is them brothers on the corner and they slanging rocks and blows. This ain't for show. This is my home. It's broken now because my wife is gone. I'm all alone and I can't get a break. My hopes, they never grew, so now they turn to hate.